Yo guys, what's going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drive. Today we're going to go through a nice little garage tour, but only of one section of my garage. Now, as you can tell from the video title, 200 maxed cars. Now, I did a garage tour showcasing all of my ultra rares when I hit 200 max ultra rares, and then when I hit 300 max ultra rares, I did it again. And as you can see here, I currently I have 364 ultra rares, but not all of them are max. If I go into fully upgraded and go into ultra rares, I have 315. So I've only really maxed 15 ultra rares since the 300 ultra rare video. But today I'm going to be talking about 200 max super rares. I'm going to give you a garage tour of my super rare collection. What are the best super rares in the game in my opinion? What are the super rares I tend to use more often, and super rares that I don't really tend to use, okay? And also, ironically, I have to say, and some of you might know this, I don't like super rares. If I had to rank every single rarity in the game to how much I like them, it would probably go like epic, ultra, legend, rare, uncommon, super rare, common, or maybe even uncommon, common, and super rare. I dislike super rare. The main reason for that is because super rares, in my opinion, as ironic as it sounds, because I have 200 of them max, super rares are a scam. It takes I think it takes 45 to 48,000 cash, somewhere around those lines. Maybe it might be actually 40,000, you know? It's in the 40,000s. It takes about 40,000 to max a super rare in terms of upgrading the car. And then on top of that 40k, if it is 40k, it could be 45 or 48, you need to spend 15k on fuse material, because you need 15 cars to max out a car, and in the super rares case, you need 15 rares to max out a super rare. That's 15 rares that I can be selling for 15k to fund other things in my garage. But no, I'm using all of them in a super rare. So to me, super rares are a scam, because now you add 40k and 15k, that's about 55k. If it's 48k plus 15k, that's in the 60ks. It takes 64k to max an ultra rare. You're better off just maxing out, using the same amount of cash to max out a significantly better car. So that's why I don't like super rares. But today I'm going to go through my entire super rare collection, but only the max ones, because obviously if I max the super rare, that probably means that it was useful in some event or some multiplayer event or clubs or something like that. And I'm also going to tell you what are the super rares where I max and I've only used like once, and some other super rares which I tend to rely on all the time. Super rares that I like to use time and time again. So let's begin. 200 max super rares in Blossom's garage. Let me know if you want to see a full garage tour, because June is coming up. That's the halfway mark of the year. So if you guys want to see my garage review, it's grown a lot. Let me know down in the comments below. But anyway, let's go. We start off with the Subaru Alcine SVX. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single one, because if not, we'll be here forever. But I want to talk about some of the ones I use more and some I use less. Subaru Alcine SVX. I really only use this car. Oh yeah, we're going to have a lot of this problem, aren't we? Because the bottom of the thingy here, it's so sensitive. Like if I click this, oh, for once, it actually selected the car. But yeah, Subaru Alcine SVX. The only time I really use this is when there's 4-wheel drive ×5 in clubs and the track set is all dry. Usually when it's like speed of light, something like that, because this car is a competent dragster for 4-wheel drive performance tires, and you have to realize that there are not a lot of 4-wheel drive performance tire super rares. It's like this and the Delta and the Quattros. That's it. And this is the highest top speed. Needless to say, I barely use the SVX. But let's talk about super rares that I use really often. Mitsubishi Cult. I think I maxed this for the 2009 challenge, not the final, but the challenge. I think it was the owner's challenge, and I have to say, ever since, I've been using this quite a bit. I like it. It's a light car, medium ground clearance, and it has 92 handling. As you can see, I've had it for 33 days and I've raced it 81 times, so it's not bad actually. I like using this car in clubs, especially because of how often Japanese clubs show up. Well, Japanese requirements show up in clubs. So the Mitsubishi Cult, it's not a Blossom choice, but definitely is a good car. Next one is the Benz. I do use the Benz a lot, just because there is a very niche category of German saloons in super rares, and also German cars that kind of handle well. Now, when it comes to German cars, 83 is considered handle well. Like, it's a high handling number for German cars. The German standard for handling is just really bad. It's like the Opel GT, and then everything else is under 85. So the Mercedes-Benz 190, it's alright. You know, 0-60 is, you know, not the best, but it's also not bad. And the main part about it is it's medium. It's a saloon, and the handling is, like I said, it's okay for German standards. So I actually use the Evo a lot in clubs. Let me just show it to you right now. There you go, 534 races, 44% win ratio. This thing doesn't win you things at all, but it is kind of like my 50-point lose condition, right? Strategical losses. Never use the Ghibli. I barely use the Miura Roadster, but this thing, you know, when you need to use it, it's the best in its class. That being said, though, I barely use the Miura Roadster. I like to use the Miura P400s, as we'll see later. At least it's kind of like my go-to twisty car for like the super low RQ super rares, this and the Alpha Giulia. But anyway, we need to move faster. C4 Talladega H2 never used, and then we are greeted by my first duplicate army of Cadillac ELRs. I got 6 of these. It is the best front-wheel drive standard tire car in the game for all the twisties. If there's anything slightly more than a twisty, more hybrid, I like to use the Acura TLX, which is an ultra rare. But the ELR kind of just withstood the test of time. Ever since its introduction in American Dream, it has stayed a staple car. I use this car in clubs almost daily, and it's also a fantastic car to use in multiplayer events as well as the Yellowbird Challenge, and this is why the ELR is a Blossom Choice car. It is so good. I just don't know which is the one with the most races. 167 on this. I don't even know which one is the oldest. 20 races on this. How about this one? 542 races. That might be the oldest one. Is there anything that beats 2,925. I think this is the oldest ELR that I have. Is there anything that beats 2,000? Yeah, that doesn't, but that's high. That's 1,005. And how about this one? 1,100. Oh, there are 3 ELRs here over 1,000. That's insane. Quattro. Oh, the Carabo is useless. Absolutely garbage. If you have this, get rid of it. The only reason I have it is because it's the first ever Italian Renaissance super rare that I maxed. It's the first ever Italian Renaissance car that I maxed, and it's the first ever Italian Renaissance super rare that I unpacked. So I kept this. I think I got this on the exact day Italian Renaissance released, and if that is true, that means Italian Renaissance was released 602 days ago. It also looks really nice in real life, but it is a useless car in the game. Once again, Giulia, like I mentioned earlier, I used this a lot with my Elise, I think. The Lotus, it was the Lotus. And then I have the Acura, never used that. The A-Barb, I maxed this for In the Shadows. I've never used it since. Honestly, I barely use that. E-Pace, I only use in standard tire events. And there we go, Peugeot 208 R2. I do use this car quite a bit, and I'm probably going to use it in the current carbon fiber event. As you can see, 601 races in 276 days. It kind of is a strategical car to lose by 50, but it's still a really good car. I am contemplating getting a second one. Next up is the Dodge Avenger. I use this car in clubs a lot because when x5 Saloon shows up, this is a great one to pair with drag and city. So Dodge Avenger, that's a pretty good one. That's a really good front-wheel drive medium ground clearance car, you know, 5089 for 41 RQ. That is a bargain. Now, as you're gonna see that I have a lot of maxed out American Frontier Super Rares, because some of you guys might forget, I made a video on this. I collected every single American Frontier Super Rare, and I had every single one of them maxed, some of them in duplicate. So you're gonna see a lot of them, but for the most part, when it comes to American Frontier, the Acuras and the Chryslers are useless. The only Acuras that I use would be the Integra Type R, and then 2 more that I'll mention later. One is yellow, one is red. So moving on here, I do like to use my Yota Mx5 Gt a lot. I like the handling, I like the 0-60, I like that it's light, 395 races, 66% win ratio. 395 races might be a lot for some people, but for me, in relative terms, it's actually not that high, but I have been using the Yota a lot more recently. Iroc is a washed up car. I used to use it all the time when it had 91 handling. Not anymore, unfortunately. It's not a car that I like to use. When it comes to low RQ medium ground clearance cars, I like to use the Dodge Avenger. That's it. It's the Dodge Avenger all the way. So anything else is kind of irrelevant. Caliber is pretty good. It's a better E-Pace, right? No, I-Pace or E-Pace? The Jag, right? It's a better version of that, still maintaining really low RQ. I like using the Caliber RT, and actually it got me through the 2007 tune-up challenge really quickly. All the off-road sectors, I just used the Caliber and the Nitro. You guys saw that because I actually made a video on that. Moving on, I don't really use anything here. This is like all of a wasteland. The S90 T5, I have thought about selling this car so many times. Like every time I'm like low on cash, I know Blossom low on cash means like I'm close to going under 10 mil. But when I'm ever close to going under 10 mil and I feel like I need cash quick, I always think that I should sell the S90 T5 because I never used this car. This kind of like the Carabo is kind of like the first car, the first Super Rare I got in a new update. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just getting the most useless Super Rares for every new update because once again, the Volvo S90, man, I never used this. 63 races in 279 days. It's funny because American Frontier, the first Super Rare I got for American Frontier, is also one of the most useless ones as well. It was the Ford Maya 2, it's RQ45. We'll see that in a bit. But anyway, moving on here. Oh, the XT, I use this a lot. I feel like a lot of people already have the XT because of Year of the Ox. Fantastic car. I use that car all the time. I'm just gonna keep it, you know, quick and fast and just say I use this car all the time. Just know that when I say that, I mean I use it in clubs, multiplayer events. I've used it in Yellowbird, all that kind of stuff. Basically everything, challenges, everything. You know, that's kind of like the cars that I think of right away, because obviously, like, when you're making a hand and let's say you've already put in 4 cars and then like the last one it says 44, that's all the RQ you have left. Whenever I think of 44 and I need like a standard tire car, I always think of the Subaru XT. If I think of 44, I need a twisty car, I always think of the Dodge Copperhead, that kind of stuff. The RX-8, I recently maxed this, so I haven't used it much. As you can see, I've only had it for 9 races. I recently maxed this because I knew that I had to get it because of the high handling, but I haven't really used it much. K5 Blazers, these cars are kind of washed up. Used to be the best in their day, but then the V8 Windsor came around. The Abarth 124, one of those other Super Rares I use all the time. As you can see, I've owned it for over 1,000 days, and I've had it, I've raced it 1,380 times and 66% win ratio for a car that I kind of just put anywhere. It's actually really high. Once again, I think I've said this so many times, and I've told this to all my patrons and everybody I know. When it comes to Yellowbird, when you're going through the Italian campaign, this is the car to have. This got me through more than half of the races in Italian Yellowbird. I think this got me through about 6. The Abarth 124 Spider is fantastic. Another car that I used a lot in the Yellowbird campaign was the standard tire Alfa Romeo, the 164 Spider, this one. But outside of the Yellowbird, I've really never used it since, so I did not talk too much about that. A lot of these cars I kind of just maxed out for, you know, special events or something like that. Like I remember the Renault was for, I think, Ride of the Valkyries or Riders of the Storm. It was one or the other. The Mini Cooper was when it was the Hot Hatch event, the Hot Hatch final, and I just maxed this for the tune-up challenge to get myself the pack. RX-7, I don't know why I maxed this. I really never use it. I think I just maxed it out because it was like kind of hipster, you know? It's also medium ground clearance and it has 89 handling, so it's not too bad, but I never use it. The Amg C43, there's the problem, there's the glitch. Amg C43, I do use this quite a bit. It's kind of like the Evo 2. It just has a slightly lower 0 to 60. It's also medium. It's also a saloon. It's from my birth year, which is a plus, but it does have less handling, but more MRA. It's a really strange car. I feel like if I got a second one, I'd probably 996 it, but why would I get a second one? This car is actually really trash. The main reason why I have most of the Mercs max is because I like Merc, so I collected all of the Mercedes Super Rares, and I maxed them all. That was really it. Maserati Quattroporte, this one's pretty good. This one's actually really good. Medium ground clearance, low 0 to 60, diesel, and 86 handling, and it has performance tires because most diesel cars are off-road, so having, you know, a performance tire diesel cars are actually pretty niche, and this is one of them. The Quattroporte diesel is actually a pretty decent car. I endorse that. So is the Maserati Racing. This one is kind of like if you've already maxed out all your Blossom choices, you max out all your key cars in your specialization. Oh my god, am I getting a lisp? I hope not. But yeah, nothing wrong with the list, of course. I have friends with them. But yeah, Maserati Racing is actually like, it's a decent car. It's kind of like a car that you can have just lying around, and you might need it once or twice. It's a 90s car and Italian Renaissance. It might help you with, you know, low Italian Renaissance RQ saving. It's a nice, decent little all-rounder, but once again, this is a car that you will use for strategic losing. It loses, you know, a lot by 50. And as you can see here, 70% win ratio, 40% win races, 40% races. Okay, I said that it's a strategical loss car, but then I have an abnormally high win ratio on it, which is like kind of counterintuitive, but I maxed it with the plan to only put it on strategical losses, if that makes sense. Honda S2000, this one was a disappointment. It's one of my oldest Japanese Super Rares, and honestly, I don't like it. I don't like to use it. That's why I kind of maxed out the other ones. The Ford Maya EM. So this This is the first American Frontier Super Rare I got. 4.40 to 60, 81 handling, and god man, I never use it. I have this drag spec as well, 996, and I think I'm gonna say I've raced it under 50 times. 20. It has a high win ratio, but it's probably because I race it against bots or something like that. Here, Windsor, this is like the K5 Blazer, but better in every way. Fantastic car. This has already won me a couple of ceramic packs even. Like, I've used it in multiplayer events, and this has already won me like tier 1, tier 2. So, fantastic little car this. C2R2 needs no introduction. Those are Blossom choices. Fantastic. This is the other yellow Integra that I was talking about. You know how I said there were 3 Integras that I use, or 3 Acuras that I use in the super range? The white, the yellow, the red. We've seen the white, we've seen the yellow, and we'll see the red later on. I think it's like RQ47. But yeah, moving on is my Lamborghini Miura P400 Army. Now this is my go-to super rare dragster. Honestly, I love the Superbird, but as much as I love the Superbird, it's just not as good as the P400. It's the same thing with the Corvette ZR2 or the El Camino or anything really. If you want a super rare dragster for super rares, this is like the car for the quarter mile, the half mile, and the 1 mile. You won the test bowl winner, then you get the Miura Roadster. But anything else, you want to use the Miura P400, and it's also competent on the fast circuit as well. This is really the car to have, and as you can see, I have 4 of the max because I like to use them in clubs. And usually when I use them in clubs, you kind of need 2 dragsters at most, unless it's speed of light. So usually I put them in teams of 2, and now I can rotate between 2 teams. That's 20 races, that's gold participation and top 10, or MVP, which is either 8.7k or 10.2k. So, you know, it's money. Miura P400 is money. Ignis, this one some people might not know, it's like a super light. It's like the super light SUV. The super light SUV R500, because as you can see, for a 4-wheel drive, all surface tire car, it only weighs 857 kgs. So that's a little bit of a sleeper if you guys don't know. It should get the sleeper tag, honestly. Anything else I use here? The Regal's not bad. It actually handles alright. It's medium, and it has standard tires. The thing is, the Cadillac ELR is just better. This is the only car that you want to use over the ELR if it's city streets medium or city streets small and you can only use super rares. If not, you're better off using just the ELR and the Acura TLX if you can use ultra rares. 911S 2.7, that obviously these cars are incredibly old. They won me the 911 GT1 when it came out the first time. As you can see, it's over 1,200 days old. These things are they're ancient. These things are gods in my garage, honestly. We got the Durango GT, one of my first American Dream super rares. You know, cars like the Thunderbird was kind of because I needed it for, I think, Ride of the Valkyries once again. Nothing too special here. The SSR was really good until the Mustang GT took its place after the buff that it got. The Chrysler Crossfire Coupe. Now this is kind of like the Cadillac ELR, but the rear wheel drive version, okay? If you want a good rear wheel drive standard tire super rare, the Chrysler Crossfire Coupe is the way to go. Honestly, I need 2 of those max, but I haven't unpacked a second Chrysler Crossfire Coupe in forever. I don't have a second one lying around, so I kind of only have 1, but then again, I've kind of been just okay living with 1 anyway. So what else we got? Oh, here's the red Acura that I was talking about. So there we go. Oh, come on, again. Where were we? RLX, here we go. RSX. So we had the white, we had the yellow, and this is the red. This one's fantastic. It's a great City Street small, City Street small car, and then I'll tell you about the City Street's medium car in a bit for American Frontier. We have the Volkswagen Sirocco R, also a really good car. I don't like Volkswagen, but I'll give it credit when credit is due. The Sirocco R is actually pretty decent. The Megane is like the best super rare City Street's medium car, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this is the Renault Sport Megane. It's pretty decent. 5.10 to 60, 93 handling. But everything else here is kind of meh. Rip to the Pescarolo, right? Used to be the dragster of the century. It's funny because the Miura P400 was the best. Pescarolo came along, took the crown from the Miura, but then Hutch was like, no, you get nerfed. So now the Pescarolo is trash, and the Miura P400 is the king once again, which is nice. I prefer the Miura P400 anyway. It's a sexier looking car. GLA 220D. This thing is the definition of disappointment. I really never use it. One of my friends in high school actually had one of that. I don't know if she still drives it though. Next up, we have the Ford Flex. You guys know this already. I love the Ford Flex. Unfortunately, it is the second best super rare standard. I know I said it was the best in the past, and I genuinely thought that it was, but then after someone did some actual testing with times, the Volkswagen, but the Volvo 850 all-wheel drive is the best standard tire super rare in the game. The Flex is second in everything. That being said though, I am just, you know, kind of mad at the Volvo for being better than a car that I genuinely like. So I don't have the Volvo Max. I can live without the Volvo, although it is a very key car and you should get it. I'm just like, I hold grudges like that, I guess. But yeah, I got 3 of the Ford Flexes. I absolutely love them. Next up, we have the Charger RT. This is like the City Streets medium to the Acura RSX. The RSX is the best American frontier car for City Streets small. The Charger RT is the best American frontier car for City Streets medium. Honestly, that might be topsy-turvy. It might be the other way around. But I know one thing for sure is that these cars are the best in one of the city streets. So if this isn't the best for medium, it's the best for small. If it's not the best for small, it's the best for medium. But yeah, moving on. This is again 4 times now. I think it was 4 times now that we were in that stupid glitch. Not stupid glitch, but you know, this thing is so sensitive. Dodge Razor, come on. Yes, I want to click the car. It's a bit of a sleeper for the fast circuit. That's about it. It's just a bit of a sleeper for the fast circuit. Monte Carlo SS, it has the MRA. I think it has like 85 MRA or something like that. Or maybe like 80. I think it was 80 MRA. It was like pretty high. The problem about it is that it's because it's such an all-rounder. It's kind of like a car that you lose by 50 with. But the thing is, if you want strategical losses, you usually go lower in RQ. Right? The fact that this is 48 RQ isn't helping its cause. It's expensive and it doesn't win you anything. The Monte Carlo SS is a huge disappointment. RDX, this thing has actually won me, I think, a ceramic pack in one of the special events that we've had. So that one's pretty cool, I guess. It's a really niche car, but it's good in what it's, you know, good in, I guess. It's good in on its home tracks, which are usually mixed off-road, asphalt, dirt kind of tracks. Touareg sucks. Clio Cup car, fantastic. Europa Cup car, fantastic. I also have an army of R20 turbos. Those you don't really need 3 of unless you play a lot of clubs. If you play a lot of clubs, then that's a car to collect. I have 2 Opel GTs. One is 969 and one is 699. Also using for clubs, but it's a great car just in general for multiplayer events, Yellowbird, everything. I would endorse the Opel GT. It's a Blossom choice car. Mitsubishi Outlander. This one's pretty good. 85 handling, 4-wheel drive, all-surface tires. And then alongside this is the X-Trail, which actually has even more handling, 86 handling, 4-wheel drive, all-surface tire car. Like, really? You're telling me that a Nissan SUV really has 86 handling? Or I guess if it's based off its stock stats, it's like what, 77 handling? Really? You think the X-Trail actually has 77 handling? I mean, when you think about it, that's the same handling as the epic BMW X3 M40i. That's pretty hard to believe if you asked me. But anyway, I have it here because it has the handling. But obviously this one has a lower 0 to 60 as well, the Outlander. Then we have my army of Lotus Elise Sprints. I have 4 of those. And the 111, which is kind of like a shittier Lotus Elise Sprint. I got my XJS Trans Am, which is like the handling god of Super Rare. But because the 0 to 60 is so weak, you're better off using the Lotus Elise Sprint for 1 handling less. This is my Dragspec Honda Accord. This kind of was like the Auto Delta for super rares, you know? Like, this was my front wheel drive kind of rain dragster for clubs, and it's really, really niche, but when I do use it, it does get me the wins, but I don't use it too often. As you can see, 466 races, 77% win ratio. That's not bad, to be honest. Then, oh, there we go, there's the glitch. Oh god, we gotta move again. Okay, let me know if that annoys you, by the way, this thing being like so sensitive. Like, sometimes it just is like that. It's like sometimes it's just so incredibly sensitive, the quick slot feature. But yeah, we have my army of Abarth 131 rallies. Once again, club car. It's the only off-road saloon. So whenever there's desert sands and saloon ×5, this is the best and only car that you can use for the off-road, and that's why I have 5 of them max, you know, for an entire hand. I have 4 Datsun 240Z rally cars. I should probably get 5, but once again, kind of like the Mira P400, I kind of only use them in 2s, so I kind of rotate team A, team B, team A, team B, you know, of 2s. We got the Chrysler 300S army, or I kind of like the Chrysler army of these 3 Chryslers, and then we kind of end off with the Audi Quattro, the BMW 730Ds, and just a bunch of standard tire cars. But that is my entire super rare collection. Once again, you know, these are cars that I've used through and through. Usually if I have a duplicate of the super rare, you know that I actually use it a lot because I don't enjoy maxing out super rare. So if I do max out duplicates of them, that probably is because they're really, really good in something that they do. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of my super rare collection. How many super rares do you have in your garage, and how many of them are actually maxed? But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.